You are listening to Best in Seattle Real Estate with host Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420. This podcast is for real estate agents. Tina interviews the best of the best agents in the greater Seattle market. Learn strategies and the mindset needed to be your best. If you're looking to take your real estate business to the next level, this show is for you.
Welcome to Best in Seattle Real Estate Podcast, sponsored by Hubbard Radio Seattle. I am your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. My show is with real estate agents for real estate agents. My lineup is exclusive and reserved for the best of the best in the greater Seattle real estate market, based on closed transactions in the last 12 months. If you are a real estate agent looking to level up your game, you are in the right place. My guest today is here to share what she has learned over the years that has taken her to the top in the real estate field. Now in studio, Sheri Putzke of Windermere. Sheri has closed 49 transactions in the last 12 months, and that earns her the title of industry leader. And she is here to share today her secrets for success. Data provided and verified by MMA, Mobility Market Intelligence. Sheri, thank you for joining my show today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and I had you on my radio show when I had the Money Hour, 11:50 a.m. KKNW, and so it was great to be able to circle back around with you on my podcast, which again is exclusive for the best of the best. So I'm really happy that you're here. Would also like to give a shout out and a big thank you to my producer over at Hubbard Radio, Benny. Benny, without you, I would not be here today. And where is your smiling face?
Oh, well, I don't have my camera currently on, but I'm there in spirit.
Oh my gosh, that never happens. Well, he's got something going on with his hair today. I don't know. But
just call me out like that. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your support in making the show happen. So before we get started, I would love to share a little bit about Sheri. Sheri is ranked one of the top Realtors on the Eastside. Although most of her business is in her hometown of Kirkland, she gladly serves clients throughout the Puget Sound area. Sheri's responsiveness, patience, expertise, and incredible work ethic are often cited by her clients. She excels in executing on their behalf with deliberate strategic measures that deliver impressive results. When working with buyers, Sheri is dedicated to helping them find and procure just the right property. For sellers, she creates a well-organized marketing strategy that maximizes their property value by positioning their home to stand out in the marketplace. Sheri also has an excellent relationship with her peers, being known for her high level of integrity and in-depth market knowledge. Sheri is a longtime resident of the East Side with over 14 years experience in both new construction and residential resale throughout the greater Seattle area. Her clients enjoy Sheri's personal touch and appreciation to professionalism, commitment, and heartfelt care that she exhibits in every interaction. It is truly Sheri's joy to graciously serve them, as exemplified in her motto: stay humble, work hard, be kind. Sheri's success is based on her clients' repeat business and referrals, and she's greatly values the friendships that continue well after the keys exchange hands. Sheri, again, so excited to have you here and very excited to showcase you and your success, and even more importantly, to inspire and motivate other real estate agents to know that even though we're in a challenging market that we had in 2023, you can kill it in the number of transactions and people that you're able to help with buying and selling a home. So Sheri, I'd like to start out with where does the majority of your business come from? And how do you foster those relationships, Sheri?
Yes, one correction that I failed to update. So this is year 18 for me. So
thank you.
But where do they come from? Definitely my sphere. So repeat and referral business. And whether that was intentional or not, that's definitely where, in tracking my business, where business from 2023 came from. And so I focus heavily on staying in touch, but I'm really strategic about how I do that. Ironically, I am an introvert by nature. And I just want people to know that it's okay and that you can be successful as an introverted person in this business. It's I think that's counterintuitive for a lot of people. And so the way that I do that is by, I have monthly newsletters that I send out to my sphere. And so those are electronic. I have quarterly mailers that are sent via snail mail. I do annual birthday and anniversary cards to my clients as well. And then I also host one annual client appreciation event.
Well, and Sheri, I love how you mentioned being introverted because the first thing that immediately came to my mind when you said that, wow, introverted and in sales, and you're in the top 1%, that's impressive because you naturally just think in sales and being a top producing in sales that you are extroverted, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice. And that was a great shout out. And thank you for sharing what you do to foster your relationships, because the reality is I know a lot of real estate agents that have been in the industry for the same amount of time that you have and even longer. And they're not doing anywhere near the business that you are. They're just trying to survive and get through this year that we've had where we've seen great real estate value, but we don't have enough transactions to go around with all the real estate agents. And the key is fostering those relationships, because you just said your business came from 2023 from your existing clients. And then you broke down what you did, which really isn't anything extraordinary that everybody can't do. And you do one client event, which means that that's not even putting a massive amount of marketing dollars into your business, right? And so if you're listening to the show right now, you can do it. Sheri's doing it. You just need to be strategic, and you need to have a strong follow up and follow through, that you stay consistent with that process. And it doesn't have to be anything extraordinary. The extraordinariness, and the reason there's a difference between a 1 percentile and 99% of the other business, is because Sheri is doing it, and she's doing it consistent without missing a beat. And because of that, she's continuing to get results year in and year out. So Sheri, what life experience brought you into your line of work?
I'm going to circle back one second,
Yes,
if I may, on your previous comment. The word sales makes me cringe, to be honest with you. I've never thought about myself as a salesperson because I personally don't like being sold. And prior to real estate, I did Mary Kay Cosmetics, which cracks me up at this point, for a couple of years. But it just reminds me of selling cars, and it's such a yucky connotation in my mind. And so I've never taken that approach to what I do. We are here to serve, not to sell. And I think that that has served me well, because people don't like being sold. It doesn't feel good, right? They like being served. And one other comment too that I like to make is I'm not a phone person. I am not somebody that picks up the phone and calls people, because I don't like it when people pick up the phone and call me. So again, there's so many different ways to do this business. And a lot of people, you find your people and you relate to them, because a lot of people that you connect with are like you too. So
yeah. Thank you for that, Sheri, and for explaining what you think of the word sales. And I'm actually going to repeat that in my dialogue with service, because I agree. I'm not I don't think about it as selling for somebody, but I do use that word. And so thank you for that disclosure, because you're totally right. Somebody that's a leader in their industry, they're not selling, they are serving people. So I really appreciate that. And if you're listening again, listen to the words and the dialogue that's being used here in the conversation that we're having, because it can make a difference, not just in your communication, how you're communicating with your clients, but also in your own dialogue and the conversations that you're having with yourself. And I loved as well of picking up the phone, because yes, you can pick up the phone and you can be very successful, and you don't have to pick up the phone and be very successful. I like what Sheri said is not everybody is going to like who you are, the way you work, but if you find your people, there are people that are going to want to work with you because of your authentic person and how you work, and it connects with the way they are as well. So great disclosure and shout out there, Sheri. Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
So life experience. Everybody has a life experience that has brought them into their line of work. And for people that are leaders in the industry, they most likely have connected at a deep level with that experience, because then it brings in the passion to what they do. So what is that life experience that brought you into real estate, Sheri?
Well, to be honest with you, it's pretty simple. My husband is a builder, and he has been for well, he started out at Ernst when we were first married. That's where he was working, and he did kitchen designs. I don't know if people remember what Ernst was, but it was like a Lowe's or a Home Depot that sold housewares as well as everything else that you think of at Lowe's and Home Depot. But anyway, he's been building for about 25 years now, and we have been married for 26. So that is how I initially got into the business. But it was reluctant, to be honest with you, because I associated with I associated real estate with sales, and I knew that wasn't who I was. And so it was very much about mindset. And this is something that I still work with on a daily basis. I think mindset is so important in terms of what I was doing in the business and why I was in the business. When I originally got my real estate license, my children were young. It was kind of bonus money. We weren't planning for it in our budgeting, and now that's very different these days in terms of where the income in our family comes from. And so it's been fun to see how that has evolved.
Yeah, and a great connection there, Sheri. And you mentioned mindset, and that's what I kind of talked about before, and even our dialogue, because our dialogue can impact our mindset and what we think of ourselves, what we do, and that's why I loved the correction from sales to service. And so think about what that mindset is, or how you're working on your mindset, whether it's through affirmations in the morning time to get yourself fired up and ready for your day, if it's visualization in the evening time, so that you can really visualize what that looks like for you in the future. It's critical that you have that in your plan for success. Would you agree, Sheri?
I would. And reflecting on your day, what worked, what didn't work, and what did you learn from your mistakes? I mean, our mistakes are really a powerful tool. And if you reflect on them and use it as a learning opportunity, it can be beneficial and not a negative connotation.
Yeah, and I call that my reflection challenge as part of my evening routine. And if you have not seen the commencement speech by Steve Jobs, take a listen to the commencement speech. He talks about connecting his dots. And as soon as I saw that commencement speech years ago, I started connecting my dots, and I do that through the reflection challenge. And that's exactly what Sheri is talking about. It's at the end of the day, making note of all of the positive things that happen, and then making a note of all the things that were challenging. And then you're able to learn for those things, as Sheri said. And also in the future, you can start connecting the dots that this challenging thing happened, and because of that, I've had a win over here. So it's really fun to be able to appreciate the wins and what might known as challenges, which lead to future wins when you recognize and you start connecting those dots. So thank you for that shout out as well, Sheri. So coming up next on Best in Seattle Real Estate Podcast, continued conversation with Sheri Putzke of Windermere.
So have you ever had a buyer's mortgage decline in the middle of closing? Most lenders do not pre-underwrite loans. They require a purchase and sale contract before an underwriter reviews the loan. This can cause stress for all parties involved. Highlands Residential Mortgage does pre-underwrite. In addition, Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, offers a personal $10,000 seller financing guarantee. This insurance policy to the seller and is not subject to the buyer's ability to secure financing. If the buyer's loan is declined and the financing cannot be secured, Tina personally pays the seller $10,000. This guarantee is only subject to the seller or property issues. Your buyers will stand out next to their competition. For more information, go to TinaMitchellTeam.com. That's TinaMitchellTeam.com.
Welcome back to Best in Seattle Real Estate Podcast, sponsored by Hubbard Radio Seattle. I'm your host and local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. Continued conversation with Sheri of Windermere. Are you a real estate agent looking for that one thing to take your business to new heights? Sheri is here to motivate you to be your best. You will learn what she is doing and how you can implement her best practices into your real estate business. Today, Sheri is sharing her strategies and mindset needed to be the best in the industry. Sheri is here to inspire other real estate agents to level up their business. Sheri, thank you again for being here with me today and having a conversation around your success in real estate.
Thank you, Tina.
So, Sheri, what one popular piece of advice do you disagree with and why? Or what is one popular piece of advice that you have implemented and why it helped you in your business?
So I guess what comes to mind when you ask that question is be the agent other agents want to work with. And what does that mean? As a listing agent, it means you are, and honestly, it comes down to basics. There's a lot of agents out there that don't do don't do the basics. It's picking up the phone. It is returning the calls. It's returning the emails. When you're a listing agent, come closing, do you know where the keys are? Do you know where the garage remote is? Has the grass been cut in the last 4 weeks prior to closing? Simple things that make such a difference in the end of a transaction. Do you send a thank you note to the buyer's agent or the listing agent if it was a good experience? There's so many opportunities to collaborate with your fellow agents, and really fostering those relationships makes such a difference, especially with longevity in the business. People want to work with you because there's an expectation about how you run your business, and they know that it's going to be a smooth and a seamless process, regardless of what side of the transaction on, whether you're the listing agent or a buyer's agent. You vet your buyers with pre-approvals, like it said during the commercial. I mean, they just know that whether it's the financing or the day-to-day, that your buyers are you've set the expectation with them, and it's going to be a good experience for the other agent and the client.
Yeah, great advice, Sheri. The way you conduct yourself and interact with everybody, whether it's just when you're serving your clients, it's also serving your peers. And that's on the other side of the transaction. And if you're listening to the show as a real estate agent, you've heard it before. When you ask a listing agent, what do they look for when we're in multiple offer scenarios, which we are in that now, again, and we have been, what are you looking for? Well, one of the things that they're looking for is the other agent on the other side. And are they going to be easy to work with? And that's a benefit to the seller or a disadvantage to the seller if they don't have a strong agent. And so how you're communicating and building those relationships are important. And also, we've talked about mindset here today, Sheri. When you're interacting and your interaction is consistent, no matter who you're interacting with, it helps that mindset and continues for you to continue to level up and be your best when it comes to serving your buyers and sellers, correct?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. So, Sheri, what are the top 3 mobile apps that you use for your business and why? How can they help other agents that are listening to the show this morning today?
I don't know if I have any huge takeaways there. I of course use the Home Spotter app for data there, showing time and providing feedback for my fellow agents. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I think it's such an easy and courteous thing to do when you and or your seller preps a home for sale, to take a couple of minutes and provide that feedback for your seller. It's valuable information, and honestly, it just takes a couple of minutes. And so I just like to remind everybody how important that can be. Headspace is another app that I use, and that's again more mindset. It's kind of summaries of books, whether it's on health, mindset, whatever the case may be. But it's like a 15-minute summary of the whole book, and so I listen to those when I walk in the morning. Those are a couple of my favorites.
Yeah, and I continuing to grow in your processes and system is absolutely critical in business success to get to the level that you are at. But also as important, if not even more important, is to continue to work on your mindset. And Headspace is a great app. So thank you for that shout out. So if you're listening to the show, you need to get on Headspace and take 15 minutes every morning before you start your day, so that you're ready to go and you can get through any of the challenges that are going to present itself. Because guaranteed, no matter what level of business that you're at or the success that you have, you are going to have some type of challenge that comes up. And the idea is to be able to go with that with a fighting spirit. So thank you for that, Sheri.
One other comment on that too is join a mastermind. I'm part of 3 different masterminds. One was put on by a lender, another one was put on by title, another one was put together by my office manager. And it's just an opportunity to gather on on a regular basis with like-minded agents and problem solve, talk about how you conduct your listing presentation, talk about how you're presenting the new buyer agency form, sharing resources, plumbers, electricians, whatever the case may be. I have just found that to be really impactful. And the group can be as big or as small as you want, and you can meet as frequently or as infrequently, but it's just you have a text group on your phone when you need a vendor or whatever the case may be, or it's just somebody you're in the middle of negotiating a transaction and you're like, hey, how would you handle this? I have found that to be really, really valuable. And some of those masterminds have gone on for several years where we meet regularly, and it's a pretty neat relationship.
And what a great a shout out way to end with the our show here recording today, because yes, absolutely. The people that you hang around with, you want to make sure that they're at the level that you are or even better. Right. And the created this space to where you can mastermind and come up with ideas. And that was the why behind creating this show, Sheri, is I wanted to get people like you and only people like you in this show, the best of the best, so that other real estate agents can have a space to go and to hear what to do to level up their business. And getting in a mastermind, it allows you to have that back and forth conversation versus just hearing one-sided of it. So thank you for that, Sheri. So Sheri, thank you again for being on the show today. Great information, and really excited for other real estate agents to be able to listen to our conversation. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. And I invite people to reach out. I remember so distinctly being a new agent and struggling, and I always try and keep that top of mind, and I'm happy to be a resource. So if people have questions or want to chat further, this was a brief conversation with there's so much to say. So if I can be of service to any of you, please feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help.
Thank you so much. And you can watch this recording with Sheri on my website, Best in Seattle Real Estate, and other conversations I have with other top agents. You can also catch my show on Show YouTube channel, and of course, it'll hit the podcast channels. Tina Mitchell, your host and local mortgage expert. Until next time.
Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited. The views expressed by the speakers on the preceding program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Highlands Residential Mortgage Limited.